Thank you, Nick. All right, the next item on the agenda is the student government report by Mr. Ursaway.
Thank you, Mr. Chairman. In the last month, I had the opportunity of attending the Florida Association of Student Council's state convention held down at Boca Raton High School. It was really a weekend full of great opportunities for all the students and all the student council members there to make new connections with friends and different students all across the state and really build their leadership skills and learn different events from other students to bring back to their schools to make our schools here in Palm Beach County better. Other than that, in the County Council, we've been preparing for our county scholarship. It's a scholarship that is offered to all the student council members that are seniors graduating this year. It's an award based on an essay, and we're really looking forward to see who gets that. And then we've also been planning our Anything Goes event. It's basically our student government's version of a field day for all of our seniors in student government in the county. It's a day of festivities and celebrations just to let loose and have fun for all the seniors that worked so hard for the past 4 years for student council. And that is all.
Thank you very much, Mr. Ursaway. The committee reports, Academic Advisory Committee. Use that podium there, please. Mr. Doctor, if you want to head over to the other podium.
Good evening, Chairman Barbieri, school board members, Dr. Fenoy, and staff. This month, our committee heard a presentation about the new ESE and ELL technology platforms. The committee was impressed with the new plan, specifically how it will assist staff in budgeting per student needs and how it will improve the process for completing these forms. Staff mentioned that there will be training to help staff develop better measurable goals for IEPs and education plans, EPs. After hearing the ability of this program to track students' progress towards the goals on the plans, the committee members strongly recommended that a link is developed so that parents will be able to access this information through the SIS parent portal, as well as to receive the information, which staff said that there were already plans to do so, to receive the information by paper. But if we can help find ways to make the 2 different or 3 different computer systems work together, that'll help everyone be better informed. Committee members also recommended that the principal's dashboard include fields to track how many IEPs, 504s, English language learners, ELLs, and plans and education plans are out of date, and how many IEPs are due in the following months, so that principals will be better able to easily anticipate staffing needs to cover when teachers will be in these meetings. Staff mentioned that they will be piloting these programs in August and that the Easy IEP will be piloted in different schools than the ELL Elevation program. A committee member recommended that the pilot should also include a few schools where both programs will be implemented at the same time to mimic what will be done during the rollout. The committee also discussed concerns that the portion of the Elevation program which focuses on instructional strategies will be framed as a recommendation instead of a requirement to teachers, so that staff had responded that teachers will be able to use their professional ability to determine appropriate strategies and personalize the process according to the needs of the student. The committee and staff also discussed that these new programs will be helpful to monitor the consistency of strategies and goals that are being implemented. So sometimes you might find that a classroom might have many of the students with the same types of accommodations, and so that instead to really take a look at the needs of each child to make sure that there's differentiation happening to meet their needs. So that seemed to be well received as well as a discussion. So a committee member also asked that the platform be used to help staff ensure that, as per the school board policy, the meetings regarding students with life-threatening health conditions are held prior to the beginning of the school year. Thank you very much.
Thank you. Thank you for your work. Mr. Doctor.
Chairman Barbieri, board members, Dr. Fenoy. My name is Lou Doctor. I'm here representing a Construction Oversight and Review Committee. We met on March 7th with an extensive agenda. We had 9 CORC members that were present. As you know, we're short 1 CORC member. We received 3 non-agenda items asked for our opinion and consideration. They were prepared to be presented to us, but they hadn't finished the financial information that usually goes along with the guaranteed max prices. They processed them. We did not review them. We had no material to review. Suggested that we presented them to you. You may want to go forward with them, and they'll finish up the financials and give us the review at the next meeting. That wasn't a problem with us. One was construction manager at risk at the Jupiter Farms Elementary. One was New Horizons Elementary, and the other was Wellington Landings. So they may be brought up on your agenda later.
Mr. Doctor, just so you know, you probably weren't advised yet. I was advised today that those items were pulled from the agenda. They'll be coming to you first, and they'll come to us next month.
Okay, that's fine.
Yep.
By the way, for your information, we are having 2 Cork meetings next month because we have to keep up with the paperwork that you people are generating. Moving on, under the consent agenda, or item 14 on your agenda, facility construction. There were 3 items that were listed there. We either voted to go forward on consent or we voted. Well, on consent, of course, means we had no problems with the issues. When we voted on it, there was an issue that we discussed. We came to a conclusion, and then we voted. On FC1 Cunningham Elementary School, it was lighting and interior changes. We voted 9-0 that should go forward. On a second one on re-roofing of Cunningham Elementary, we voted that should go forward by a 9-0 vote. On the third one, FC3 is a contingency item. Those are items that are found during the course of construction that weren't anticipated, they weren't in the drawings, and they were unknown, and as the work proceeds, they recognize something has to be done. You've delegated the financial authority lower in the organization, which is the appropriate thing to do. Cork had some questions on those items, which is an unusual situation because we really don't receive detailed backup on contingency items. They're generally low dollar volume items. So we are suggesting that you move forward on that item, and any information that would answer a few questions Cork members have can be supplied at the next meeting, but we saw no reason to hold up on it. Recommended you proceed on that item. Under construction purchasing, there are 12 projects on your agenda. Interestingly enough, they represent 18 schools, 11 elementary schools, 3 middle schools, and 4 high schools. Similar to the list that Dr. Fenoy presented, this is a piece of the action that's going on behind the scenes. We reviewed all 12 projects, and most of them were on consent, some weren't. I'm just going to highlight the ones to you that Cork had a discussion on. PC2 construction manager in Spanish River and Royal Palm. The only question on that was the period of time for performance, and due to the nature of the work and the size, that project is going to continue for approximately 2 years. PC3 at risk on Crestwood Middle School, Indian Pines Elementary, and Royal Palms High School. That was moved forward on consent. Construction risk at Starlight Cove, PC4. We discussed the resources necessary to complete that project, and it was moved forward by a 9-0 vote. PC5, construction manager at risk on North Grade Elementary, South Olive, moved forward on consent. PC6, risk for Jupiter Elementary and Pahokee Elementary. That one was voted to move forward by a vote of 8-1. Whenever we have a negative vote, I have an obligation to explain to you the reason why the negative vote, so you can take it under consideration when you make your vote. The problem was with Jupiter Elementary School. We're fixing the fire alarm system in the school, which is one of the safety concerns that's being taken care of by the sales tax money. There's an auditorium attached to the elementary school that has been abandoned and not used for a number of years. One Cork member felt it was a waste of time to spend any money on that particular addition. It's an integral part of the building, and we need to fix the fire alarm system for the entire complex, regardless of whether we're using the auditorium or not. Heaven forbid there should be a fire in an abandoned auditorium. We need to know that and evacuate the children. And the rest of the Cork members felt that was the wise thing. One Cork member objected and said we shouldn't spend any money on it and we should rip it down. We can't rip it down. We don't have the funds. We'd have to rebuild the wall on the elementary school where it was attached. And sometime in the future, there may be a need by the town to find a use for the building. So the cheapest and logical approach is to fix the fire alarm system and we recommended to go forward by an 8-1 vote. On PC 7, it was recommended by go forward by a 9-0 vote. That was pulled. The reason it was pulled is there were a number of issues that the contractor raised in preparing his bid for the job. One of your staff members was in the room. He informed us that he had reviewed every item the contractor had raised, either clarified the contract intent, explained where it was located somewhere in the contract, and successfully responded to every question the contractor had. We pulled it in order to get that answer, and he provided a logical, consistent, and solid answer. And so we recommended the next items that we had pulled for discussion all go forward. So that applies to a PC 8 through PC 13. Under discussion, we noticed that the Adult Education Center had resolved all the internal problems, and that construction is now going forward. We were glad to hear that. There were some cost issues. They had been resolved, and that project is moving ahead. We'll hear more about it in the future. And then we received a summary similar to what Dr. Fenoy had showed you today about the work that's in process. It's a heavy workload. There's a lot of work going on, and your guys are doing a great job. I wanted to congratulate you all. Do you have any questions?
Any questions for Mr. Doctor? Thank you for reading the thousands of pages. I saw what you guys had, so I appreciate it.
Mr. Barbieri, it was 3,200 pages. By the way, it was necessary paperwork. These are all contracts. You have a great set of contracts. In some cases, they're repetitive with only the vendors' names. There's the request for bids. There's a contractor response. It's the final contract award, and it's really a fine job your staff has done. So the paper is necessary to legally bind the contractors and protect the money, but it's an excellent package.
Thank you. Thank you to Mrs. Paul for getting that done. Thank you. Next item are the delegation